Hola, hola. ¿Cómo están todos? We'll get class going in a couple minutes once everybody arrives.
Hola.
Hola, 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 Shannon. ¿Cómo estás hoy?
Muy bien.
Muy bien, excelente, excelente.
No, mire. Oh,
Hola, hola. Um, quickly, this is for Amanda. Um, since you're also in this class, for some reason, when you chimed in, I thought you were in one of my other classes, so you're all good. I was like, I know Amanda. So, uh, just stay in this when the class is done. Just hang out here. We don't even need
okay,
to go to the other one. Don't even need to go to the other
perfect.
one.
Thank
Perfecto.
you.
And probably a lot of my your questions might even be answered today. I think they will.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Okay. Hola a todos. Hola a todos. Yes. Oh, that's why I thought you were in my other class. I had my email open to another student when I was talking to you. Sorry about that, Amanda. Ok, perfecto. Muy bien. ¿Cómo están todos? ¿Cómo están
Muy bien.
todos? ¿Cómo están? If you can hear how I'm using that, ¿cómo están is a plural way of saying how are you. So, ¿cómo estás tú? How are you? Friend of mine. You, friend. ¿Cómo está usted? Mr. Adams. Hola, Professor Adams. ¿Cómo está usted? But I can also say, how are you guys doing? ¿Cómo están ustedes? So it's a plural way. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Excelente. ¿Cómo están ustedes? I will be sharing my screen with you momentarily. I'm going to give about maybe one more minute. Excelente. So we got some really cool backgrounds going on. Like that little heart you got going on there, Leisha. Chris is in outer space. That's wonderful. Excelente. Got the Northern Lights with Josh. Love it. Excelente. Excelente. Muy bien. All right. Excellent. Okay. We're going to mute everybody if you don't mind. Get things going here. Excelente. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. People will be chiming in, so I apologize for that. I haven't figured out a way to mute that little beep when people come in here, but it didn't bother us last time, hopefully, but I will try to keep everybody muted. There will be times when I'm going to ask a little bit of participation. A lot of it's going to be in the text. I want to be able to see everybody give a nice text response. It'll just see how grammar and how your understanding and the vocabulary, and we're kind of going to go from there. So let me go ahead and compartir, to share, compartir mi pantalla. Excelente, compartir mi pantalla. Okay, we got that right there. Excelente. I'm gonna move that everybody over this way. Okay. Just make sure that I can mute everybody when I need to. Setting up my multiple screens here, so I appreciate your patience as I get going on here. And make sure participants. Okay, there we go. I can mute you at any time I want now that I've got the participant up there. Now, if you have any questions at all, I can also look at the chat. I have another screen area that I've last time I didn't have the chat up. So if you have any questions, I'll kind of glance over and see if I see anybody have a question in the chat. So we're all dialed in, ready to go. Hopefully, we won't have any technical issues. Bienvenidos. Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. I'm reluctant to use buenas noches. Usually, when we say buenas noches, it's the nighttime. Buenas noches, and it's 6 o'clock. In Spain, it would still be light outside, especially in the summer. In the winter, it does get dark a little earlier, like here. But buenas tardes is more kind of after dinner, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, and you transition into the noche, buenas noches, even though it is dark outside here in California. If you're here, I know that somebody's in Italy right now. Ok, excelente, muy bien. Hoy, ¿qué día es hoy? ¿Hoy es lunes? No, hoy no es lunes. Hoy no es lunes. Huh. Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves. Hoy es jueves. Excelente. ¿Y la fecha? ¿Cuál es la fecha? La fecha,
Febrero
febrero. Now, it's curious
first.
when we say the first. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutamente. We use the ordinal numbers. We've got the cardinal numbers and the ordinal numbers. We say 3 of February, 4 of February, but when we say the first, we go primero, primero de febrero. I'll write that down here in the chat here. El primero de febrero, primero de febrero. So hoy es el primero de febrero. ¿Y qué día? ¿Qué día? Hoy es jueves, ¿no? Hoy es jueves. Hoy es jueves. And we notice that febrero and jueves not even capitalized. Isn't that really interesting in español? Not capitalized. Okay. So, primero de febrero and hoy es jueves. ¿Y qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? La hora. ¿Qué hora es? La hora son las 6, ¿no? Son las 6:07. Son las 6:07. We're actually going to talk about time next week, probably. Pero son las 6:07. Excelente. Muy bien. Out of the gate, any questions that might be able to be addressed with the entire group? If you have a specific question, hold on to it. We can address it at the end of class or through the chat. But any general question that might benefit all? Anybody want to throw out a question? If not, we just jump right into it. Okay, excelente. I'm kind of glancing over, seeing everybody. Okay. Always know that this link here, I have it within the I sent it to you the first day, and I can always send it again to have a series of resources. We always want to try to push ourselves to listen and read daily. Consistency is the key. That's gonna catch it. Consistency is the key. So if we can read something and listen to something 10, 15 minutes daily, I say more if you can, but daily, it'll help our listening understanding improve. So that's kind of the key here. Vamos a empezar. ¿Cómo estás hoy? ¿Cómo estás hoy? Por favor, en el chat necesitan escribir ¿cómo estás hoy? Por ejemplo, yo personalmente, yo estoy muy bien. ¿Cómo estás hoy? ¿Cómo estás hoy? ¿Y cuántos años tienes? ¿Cuántos años tienes? Yo quiero saber cómo estás hoy. Chris está así, así. Ok, muy bien. Oh, pobre Amanda. Amanda está enferma. Amanda está enferma. ¿Cómo estás hoy? Let's see some more responses in the chat. See if we can get other people to chat a bit here. Excelente. Okay, good. Estoy bien. Peter está muy bien. And notice how I'm changing Peter está bien. Está is for he or she. Peter está bien. Okay, Sadida está bien. Elizabeth está bien. Now, I'm going to apologize for my Elizabeths. I took note of it because as I was watching your discussion videos, discussion boards, which by the way, I always like to give feedback. I'd like to give you critique on how you're pronouncing things, what your grammar is. Now, thus far, I've only reviewed 2 of them. Your introduction message, which was in English, but then I have also your second discussion board, which dealt with you saying where you live. I forget what the other prompt question was, but it was in first time using the target language in the discussion board, which is outstanding. You did such a great job. But if you want to see my feedback, because I videotape myself talking to you, I respond to you and critique you. Some of you, it's perfect. I'm like, good job, excelente, nothing to critique. Pronunciation's good, sentences are good, but I always want to respond to you and give you that immediate feedback. So if you go into grades in Canvas and click on grades, you'll be able to go to the assignment itself, click on the assignment, the discussion board assignment, and you'll see my video. So make sure you do that. Marisa dice, estoy bien, tengo 28 años. Now you can make up your age if you want. Tengo 28 años. So ella está bien. Ella tiene 28 años. Tengo 25 años. Tengo 32 años. Good, excelente. Estoy muy fantástico. Sharon, outstanding. Sharon está fantástico. So I'm going to apologize so Elizabeth Ortiz goes by Liz, and Elizabeth Stillwatch goes by Elizabeth. So I want to try to get that correct. Liz Ortiz. Okay. Muy bien. ¿Cómo estás? Estoy bien, estoy mal, estoy enfermo, estoy ocupado, tengo, estoy muy hambriento. Okay, that's great. Great little thing there. I'm going to rephrase that. If I want to say I'm really hungry, instead of using the really cool word hambriento, which does exist, hambriento exists, we actually say it like this. Tengo hambre. So that's how it's spelled in the chat. Tengo hambre. Tengo hambre. I'm hungry. I have hunger is what you really say. A little complicated. Estoy hambriento. Great option, but tengo hambre is what people actually say. Good. Excelente. Muy bien. Tengo 22 años. Muy joven. Okay. Vamos a seguir. Gracias por participar. Okay. El abecedario. We want to always review those. A, E, I, O, U. Abecedario. We're not going to go over those again tonight. I do want to have you unmute yourself if there's no distracting noise around you. If you have noise going on, you can just say it to yourself. But if you do have a quiet area where you can speak into the microphone, then let's hear you. That's wonderful. However you feel comfortable. Okay. A ver, we're going to repeat again. ¿Listos? ¿Listos? Bien? Okay. Cero.
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 Excelente. Uno.
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 Dos.
Dos.
Tres.
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 Cuatro.
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 Excelente. Cinco.
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 Seis.
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 Siete.
Siete.
Ocho.
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 Nueve.
Nueve.
10.
Diez.
Excelente. 11.
Once.
12.
Doce.
13.
13.
14.
14.
15.
15.
16.
16.
17.
17.
18.
18.
19.
19.
20.
20.
21.
21.
22.
22.
23.
23.
24.
24.
25.
25.
26.
26.
27.
27.
28.
28.
29.
29.
30.
30.
Now, for the fun of it, let's go up by tens. We'll go 40, 50, because we know all we have to do is go 30 and 2, 30 and 3, 32, right? So let's go 40. 40.
40.
Excelente. Now 50. 50.
50.
Que repiten, por favor. 60.
60.
70.
70.
80.
80.
90.
90.
100.
100.
Excelente. Muy bien. Okay. Muy bien, clase. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody if that's okay. Excelente. Muy bien. Vamos a continuar. Okay. Palabras interrogativas. All these cool question words. We're going to practice a couple of them again today. Que, cuando, quién es quién. We're going to focus on cuantos a little bit here. Cuantos. How many? Notice how that word changes. Cuanto, cuanta, cuantos, cuantas. I want to see if you can see why it changes. That's kind of the main focus of our lesson today. Okay. This slide was last time. We saw this last week. ¿Cuántas camisas hay? In the chat. Let's go and answer that. Let's see if you can answer that. ¿Cuántas in a complete sentence? Remember what I means up there? There are. ¿Cuántas camisas hay? There are 3 words in that answer. Blank, blank, blank. How can we do that? ¿Cuántas camisas hay? Excelente, Chris. Muy bien. Muy bien, Sarita Amanda. Wow, qué rápido. Okay. Okay, Haley. Excelente, excelente. Okay, outstanding, excelente. Hay 3 camisas. Now, the difference with cuantas versus cuantos. Look at vestidos versus camisas. We got something called gender and number that comes into play. We'll talk about that a lot today. ¿Cuántos vestidos? Hay un vestido. Notice how we didn't say uno vestido. When we use the number one, it's uno. But when we use the one as the article, the indefinite article, a dress, technically one dress, it's un vestido. Excelente, muy bien. Okay, muy bien. There is or there are. ¿Cuántos estudiantes hay en la clase hoy? Now, I actually don't know. Take a guess. ¿Cuántos estudiantes hay en la clase? While you're writing that in there, I'm going to go ahead and count. ¿Cuántos estudiantes hay en la clase? Okay. Excelente. Okay. Hay 20 estudiantes en la clase. Hay 21. Okay. Great response, Josh. Excelente. Hay 21. Let's drop that O. 21 estudiantes. Okay. Excelente. I think you're right. I might have counted wrong. Okay. Excelente. Entonces, hay 21, even if it were 25, 25. Good. Hay 21. The most important thing is having that I there. Hay 21 estudiantes. There are. That's really cool that there are two words in English making one word in Spanish. Hay 21 estudiantes. If there were one book, if there was one book, it would be hay un libro. Still I. I doesn't change. Such a cool word. Excelente. Muy buena participación. Vamos a seguir con la siguiente actividad. Vamos a practicar. We're practicing. Let's practice. Vamos a practicar. ¿Cuántas cosas necesita la mujer? How many things does the woman need? She's going to respond. Yo necesito. Yo no necesito. What I'd like you to do is instead of writing this in the chat, if you have a piece of paper in front of you, I'm going to have you listen to the audio and she explains what she needs and doesn't need. And she goes through the entire list. You just have to put a number in front of it. So if she needs 3 cuadernos, and we'll explain what those are in just a second. 3 cuadernos, then you write down number 3. If she needs 5 cuadernos, if she doesn't need any textbooks, then write cero, the number 0, cero. Okay, excelente. Cuadernos, workbooks, cuadernos. Libros de texto, textbooks. Mochilas, backpack, mochilas. Tizas blancas. And at any point, I record this lesson, so you can always go back and look at the lesson to hear that pronunciation, maybe practice saying it a couple times. It's yours to rewatch it anytime. Tizas blancas, white chalk. Now, if you can see, we're going to talk about why blancas is after tizas. It looks like chalk white. There's a reason behind that. So, tizas blancas, tizas de colores, so colorful or chalk of many colors. Marcadores amarillos, marcadores, yellow markers. Marcadores verdes y anaranjados. Marcadores verdes y anaranjados, green and orange markers. Lápices con borrador. That's a pencil. Lápices con with, and borrador is an eraser. Lápices con borrador. Bolígrafos azules, so blue pens. Now, you might be familiar with Spanish and you might say pens a different way. There are a couple different words you can use. Some people say lapicero. Some people say pluma, but the textbook will use bolígrafos. So bolígrafos azules. Bolígrafos rojos, red pens. Okay, listos? Vamos a escuchar. We're going to listen to a little bit of audio here, and I want you to see if you can write down on your piece of paper what that is. Let me move this stuff out of the way. All right, here we go. ¿Estamos listos? Turn the volume up a bit here.
Para mis clases de este semestre,
Ne-
I'm going to pause it. Thumbs up if everybody heard that. Good. Oh, beautiful. Excelente. Gracias. Excelente. Liz Ortiz. Okay, here we go.
Para mis clases de este semestre, necesito 5 cuadernos de varios colores y 2 libros de texto, porque mis libros son muy viejos. Pero no necesito mochila. Mi mochila está perfecta. Y también necesito 40 tizas blancas y 20 tizas de colores. No necesito marcadores amarillos, pero sí necesito 5 marcadores verdes y otros 5 marcadores anaranjados.
Mhm.
Finalmente, necesito 3 lápices con borrador y 16 bolígrafos rojos, pero no necesito bolígrafos azules.
Mhm.
Tengo muchos bolígrafos azules.
Okay. We're actually going to listen to it again. I really believe that multiple times is beneficial. A second time, and it's only 54 seconds. We'll listen to it again. What I want to stress here is whenever you do any reading or listening, please don't feel overwhelmed that you can't understand every single word. We're not. We're not at this point. Any language learning, you're always going to not understand something, but enough to get the answer, enough to see what they're saying, maybe hear that number here and there. But all those little filler words, we're not there yet. And that's okay. But we still need to expose our ear to it. So let's listen again and let's see if we can pick out the numbers that she says for each one of them.
Para mis clases de este semestre, necesito 5 cuadernos de varios colores y 2 libros de texto, porque mis libros son muy viejos. Pero no necesito mochila. Mi mochila está perfecta. Y también necesito 40 tizas blancas y 20 tizas de colores. No necesito marcadores amarillos, pero sí necesito 5 marcadores verdes y otros 5 marcadores anaranjados. Finalmente, necesito 3 lápices con borrador y 16 bolígrafos rojos, pero no necesito bolígrafos azules. Tengo muchos bolígrafos azules.
Mhm. Okay. Fácil, difícil, más o menos fácil, easy, difícil, difficult, más o menos, más o menos. Ok, clase, para escribir, ¿cuántos cuadernos necesita la mujer? ¿Cuántos? Notice how I changed the cuantas to cuántos because it's cuadernos. ¿Cuántos cuadernos necesita la mujer? Ok, qué rápido, muy bien. Sí, necesita 5 cuadernos. Ella necesita 5 cuadernos. ¿Cuántos libros de texto necesita la mujer? I'm going to repeat that. ¿Cuántos, cuántas, cuántos, cuántas? I'm going to do the recycling. Okay, excelente. Ella necesita 2 libros de textos. Excelente clase. ¿Cuántas mochilas necesita? Okay, excelente, Amanda. I love that additional information there. Excelente, muy bien. 0 mochilas. Ella necesita 0 o no necesita. Ella no necesita mochilas. Okay. ¿Cuántas tizas blancas necesita? ¿Cuántas tizas blancas necesita? Okay, excelente. Yeah, I love the fact that some of you are writing out the word. That's actually very good practice to spell out the word. You can write the digit, no judgment from me, but if you write it out, that's a little bit better practice. Excelente clase. Okay, make sure the spelling is cuarenta with a C-U-A, cuarenta. Oh, excelente. Entonces, ¿cuántas tizas de colores necesita? ¿Cuántas tizas de colores? Okay. Remember, 20 all by itself is with an E at the end. 20 is when you're saying that next number, 21, 22. But if we just say 20, it's with an E at the end. Good. Excelente, excelente. ¿Cuántos marcadores amarillos necesita la mujer? ¿Cuántos marcadores necesita? Okay, okay. Sí, ella no necesita. Ella no necesita marcadores amarillos. Pero ¿cuántos marcadores verdes y anaranjados necesita? Okay, oh, okay. Chris divided it up. Good, excelente. Okay, okay, okay. Good, excelente, excelente. 5 y 5. Ella necesita 10. 5 marcadores verdes, 5 marcadores anaranjados. Muy bien. ¿Cuántos lápices con borrador necesita? Okay, you guys are really on on the same page on this. Excelente. 3 lápices necesitan. Good. I love the complete sentence there, Carter. Nice job. Okay. Ella necesita 3 lápices con borrador. ¿Cuántos bolígrafos azules necesita? ¿Cuántos bolígrafos azules necesita? It's a tough one to some of you fell into the little trap. Let's see if we can get the right answer here. Did she mention bolígrafos azules first or rojos first? Did you catch that at the very end?
Rojos first.
Good, excelente. Yeah. Let's go ahead and have everybody hear that very last part because it is interesting how she kind of weaves that in there. Let me listen to that again.
Para mis clases de
Hold on.
este semestre, otros 5 marcadores anaranjados.
Okay.
Finalmente, necesito 3 lápices con borrador y 16 bolígrafos rojos.
Necesito 3 lápices con borrador y 16 bolígrafos rojos. Look what she says now.
Pero no necesito bolígrafos azules.
Pero no necesito bolígrafos azules.
Tengo muchos bolígrafos azules.
Tengo muchos bolígrafos azules. So that was a little trickery they did. They swapped the colors to see if you'd pick up on that. 0 y 16. Excelente, excelente. Muy bien, muy bien. Once again, you can always revisit that. And fun fact, your digital textbook, if you go into the Connect account and click on the digital textbook, all of these audio links are included in these assignments for you to listen to. So that's wonderful. Okay. Excelente. Vamos a continuar. Aquí, mira, look, mira a los amigos del club, friends of the club, y conversa con tu compañero. We're not going to have a conversation with our partner because we're not in a typical classroom setting. It says, describan a dos de estas personas. We're going to describe the two. I'm showing you these instructions because I want to point out one thing. That question. ¿Qué ropa lleva? ¿Qué ropa? ¿Qué? That interrogative word, ¿qué? What? ¿Qué ropa? Ropa, clothing. You notice how ropa is singular in Spanish? If I say clothing, it makes sense. But if I say clothes, what clothes did you buy? That's plural. The clothes are beautiful. The clothing. So it's ropa is always singular in Spanish. La ropa. ¿Qué ropa lleva? What clothing or what clothes do these individuals wear? ¿Qué ropa lleva? ¿Qué ropa lleva Claudia? ¿Qué ropa lleva Claudia? Can anybody write in ¿Qué lleva Claudia? Now, there's a list in the textbook with all the wonderful listings of clothing. We saw it last week in our lesson, but I want to see if you can either find it quickly or maybe you've reviewed some of the vocabulary and you can easily say it. Okay. Muy bien, excelente, Sadida, excelente. We're going to always make sure that we agree in gender and number. So if it's a blusa, it's a blusa blanca. Okay, lleva una blusa blanca. Pantalones, I like that. Pantalones azules. Okay, pantalones. Ella lleva zapatos. Oh, vaqueros. Good, excelente. I want to clarify the word vaqueros just in case some of you that have friends that speak Spanish and they don't use the word vaqueros. The vocabulary list is taken from an array of areas, all different Spanish-speaking countries, but vaqueros primarily is used in Spain for jeans. A lot of people literally just say jeans. Now, if you want to say pants, pants in general, whether they're khakis or dress pants or any type of pants, pantalones is your default. So every country will use pantalones. But if you say vaqueros, just know that it's pretty specific to Spain. If you want to say it in other countries, some people say pantalones de mezclilla, a type of pant, the jeans pant, the material of jeans, or jeans. Some people even say los blue jeans. Would you believe it or not? Los blue jeans. So just as long as you know that where the origin of those and where they're typically used. So Claudia lleva una blusa blanca. Okay. Ustedes están listos. You guys are ready. Ustedes están listos. Muy bien. Tengo aquí Roberto, el señor López, Raulito, Mónica, Jimena, la señora Mendoza. You saw these last week. Lleva un vestido rosado y unas sandalias blancas. ¿Quién es? ¿Quién es? Who is it? ¿Quién es? Lleva un vestido rosado y unas sandalias blancas. ¿Quién es? Cedida dice la señora Mendoza. Ok. ¿Es correcto la señora Mendoza? Es un vestido rosado. What is this? Vestido. Okay. Somebody else said Mónica. Okay. Ooh, we got a little debate here. Vamos, vamos. Who else wants to chime in on that? Okay. Ariana says Mónica. Chris P says Mónica. Okay, un vestido rosado, a pink dress. Ah, Mónica. Mónica lleva un vestido rosado y unas sandalias blancas. These are white sandals. Unas is like saying some. A pink dress and some white sandals. It's the plural form of a, right? Sometimes it could be a few, but it wouldn't make sense in English to say a few sandals. And oftentimes we would just say she is wearing a pink dress and white sandals. Spanish, you do need that article. You do need the indefinite article unas. Okay, muy bien. Lleva unos vaqueros or jeans largos azules y una camiseta azul. También, also, I love that word, también lleva unos zapatos de tenis grises. ¿Quién es? Qué rápido, Cirita. Muy bien. Amanda, Shannon, wow, excelente, Chris. Excelente, Winter. Muy bien, Ariana. Gracias por participar. Thanks for participating. Gracias por participar. Sí, es Roberto. Roberto lleva vaqueros largos azules. What are largos? Pantalones largos. Those are long pants and not shorts. Regular pants and not shorts. Like Raulito is not wearing pantalones largos. Pantalones largos azules y una camisa azul, a blue shirt, y unos zapatos shoes de tenis grises. So tennis shoes that are gray. Excelente, muy bien. ¿Quién es? Lleva un sombrero, un abrigo rojo y unas botas color café. También lleva lentes. What is that word? Lentes. What is that word? Lentes. A ver. Ok, ahora sí, ahora sí. Muy bien, gracias por participar. Muy bien. Excelente. Sí, tenemos. Muy bien, muy bien. Still waiting on a couple people. Peter, are you there? I wonder if Peter's there. There you are. Excelente. Muy bien. Just seeing everybody chime in. Love that participation. Okay. Muy bien. Es la señora Mendoza. La señora Mendoza lleva un abrigo, a long jacket, abrigo. Abrigo is like a coat, like a coat. Una chaqueta. Una chaqueta would be like a light jacket. Chaqueta versus un abrigo. Okay. Y lleva botas color café. Now, there's different ways we can say café, right? Café could be marrón. They could be botas marrones, brown boots. When we talk about our hair color being brown, we could say pelo castaño. So a lot of cool ways to use brown, but color café is another way of saying brown. Marrón, castaño. Ok, muy bien. También lleva lentes. Ok, yo también. Yo llevo lentes. Yo llevo lentes. Desafortunadamente, unfortunately. Desafortunadamente. Ok, siguiente. Número 4. Lleva un traje negro, una corbata negra unos zapatos negros y una camisa blanca. Qué elegante. How elegant. Qué elegante. Ok. Muy bien, muy bien. Excelente. Excelente, señor López. Ok, muy bien, Rosales. Muy bien. Aquí tenemos el señor Rosales. Muy bien. Excuse me. El señor. I was looking down when somebody wrote down señor Rosales. Señor López tiene el negro, el color negro. So this is a suit. Rosales is also wearing a suit, but it's a different color. And we look at the tie, different colors of ties. Color negro, un traje negro, una corbata negra, zapatos negros, all dressed in black, una camisa blanca. Que elegante. It looks like a very formal suit, right? Fun fact, you can say traje formal, like a formal suit, but there's a word in Spain that makes me smile. They say una smoking. Literally the word smoking. Maybe it's based on a smoking jacket. I don't really know the history behind that word, but the Spaniards tend to use a smoking for a tuxedo, the word tuxedo. Interesting. Okay. Un traje formal o de pingüino, with the type of penguin style tuxedo. People even use that word. Okay, vamos. Siguiente. Lleva un traje color café. So we're using color café again instead of marrón. Traje color café, another traje, different color. We can probably dial in who it is right now. Una camisa beige. I love the fact that they use the word beige. That's the color in Spanish, beige. Así se escribe, beige. And it's pronounced like that, beige. Una camisa beige y una corbata azul. I would say even azul claro, a light blue, azul claro. También, what's that word again? También? También is also, también lleva unos zapatos de color café. So we got more brown shoes here. Color. Es el señor Rosales. Ok, excelente. Número 6. Lleva una falda negra, una blusa negra y unas botas negras. Lleva una falda negra, una blusa blanca y unas botas negras. Wow, everybody typed that in very fast. Muy bien. Muy bien. Jimena lleva, la señorita Jimena lleva una falda negra. Ella tiene pelo marrón largo, tiene pelo marrón largo y tiene unas botas. Sus botas son de otro color. We have botas marrones, señora Mendoza, en botas negras. Muy bien, Jimena. Perfecto. Okay, I think we're on one last one, right? Possibly. Yeah, I think this is the last one. Lleva pantalones cortos verdes, una camiseta blanca y verde. También, that's that word again. Also, también. By the end of this class, I want you to memorize that word también. También lleva unos zapatos de tenis blancos. Yes, Raulito. Raulito, his name is probably Raúl, but when you're little, it's called a diminutive. They'll say little Raúl. Spanish, you put an ito. Raulito. I have a buddy that I grew up with. His name is Hugo, Hugo. Hugo. But his sisters, when he was younger, called him Huguito. Huguito. Raulito. Okay, excelente. Muy bien. Un niño. Excelente. Sí, Raulito es un niño. Es un niño. Okay. Muy bien. At this point, you can throw it in the chat. You can even unmute yourself and vocalize it. ¿Cómo vamos? How are we doing? Any questions at all? Any questions confusing about our little clothing description? I would just kind of wanted to review the clothing. We didn't do that last week. It's kind of a way to recycle it. And it really indirectly reinforces what we're talking about. If you can see una camiseta blanca, there are some elements there. Una camiseta blanca. You've got all of it feminine. Una camiseta blanca. Let's go pantalones. Unos pantalones cortos verdes. It's all masculine, all plural. Unos pantalones cortos verdes. A lot of cool consistency in español. Okay, excelente. ¿Qué ropa llevas hoy? I want to know what you're wearing. ¿Qué ropa llevas hoy? Por ejemplo, yo make sure you say yo llevo. I want you to write that in there. Yo llevo, I'm wearing. Yo llevo un suéter. This would be considered a suéter. Un suéter. Yo llevo un suéter gris. Yo llevo una camisa rosada. Y yo llevo pantalones negros. Pantalones negros. ¿Qué llevas? Please write in the chat what you're wearing right now. It could be 1, 2 articles of clothing, whatever you want. 1 example, 2 examples. Okay. Yo llevo una camisa blanca y pantalones azules. Make sure we do that. Plural, azules. Yo llevo una sudadera gris y pantalones negros. Good. I'm reading your answers. I love all of these great sample sentences. Yo llevo, okay, make sure if we say the negro gorro, un gorro negro, which is a baseball cap. Very good, cool word there. Okay, let me go ahead and skim through some of these. Okay, yo llevo una camisa negra. Make sure it's negra. Yo llevo una camiseta blanca. Good. Y pantalones cortos negros. Beautiful. Yo llevo una camiseta negra. Make sure that agrees in gender number. Y bermudas negros. I love it. Bermudas are referring to type of shorts. That's another way of saying shorts in some areas. Nice. Yo llevo una camisa blanca y pantalones hoy. Oh, you've included hoy today. I love it. Yo llevo una camisa verde y pantalones negros. We'll talk about more of that consistency of what's called coordinación or concordanza, concordanza, where everything is in agreement. Yo llevo una camisa verde y pantalones negros. Llevo una camisa negra. Llevo una camiseta gris. Yes, gris is correct. Gris, that's how you spell it. Yo llevo una camisa color café. I love using that option. There's many ways to say brown. Do we say yo llevo or can we just say llevo? You're right. Great question. Don't need the yo. I know I overdo it and say it a lot. It's just to help you remember what connects to llevo mentally. You don't have to, though. You can simply say llevo. Llevo un suéter gris. Llevo un suéter gris. No need to do the yo. All of my beginning Spanish speakers, I have them do it just so they can taste out of their mouth the word yo and get used to the fact that it goes with llevo, but you don't need to write it in theory. Llevo una camisa rosa. Good. Una camisa de rosa. Chaqueta. Careful. Una chaqueta de rosa would be like your jacket's made of a rose, the flower. So una chaqueta rosa or rosada. And I'm actually glad somebody wrote that down because that's another way of saying pink. You can say rosa or rosada. It depends on the country. Okay. Y pantalones negros. Okay. We want to make sure we take out the de. You don't need the de in there. Yo llevo una sudadera azul. Yo llevo una camisa multicolor. Wow, that's a really good answer with a lot of colors. And that's a correct word, multicolor. I like that. Llevo una camisa blanca, pantalones azules. Yo llevo un suéter negro y pantalón. Yeah, make sure you don't have the de in there. Un suéter negro y pantalones azules. Let's see here. Yeah, M masculine. Yeah, if the M refers to the gender, absolutely. So in the list here, when I say suéter, it's telling me what article to put on it because suéter ends in an R. Usually words that end in an A are la. Usually words that end in an O are el or una and un. So definite or indefinite articles. But when it ends in an R or an E or an N, it's like, I don't know, what do I use? Do I say la suéter or el suéter? So the list will tell you what gender it is to indicate what article to use. Now I'm going to show you later that gender shouldn't be girl or guy. A guy can wear a shirt, a girl can wear a shirt. It's not the item itself, a pen. If I say, oh, it's él, it's masculine, that's not saying that only men use pens. So it's not that way. Now, when you do say a girl, like un chico y una chica, yeah, you've got un and una. But in other things, a glass of water, un vaso, It's not, oh, since it's un, only guys use vasos. So we're going to try to disconnect from that logic, but every noun has gender, meaning it either uses el or la. In English, that does not exist. There is one definite article, it's the, but we don't say the hat, the beanie. One is el gorro, one is la gorra. In Spanish, we do. So that's why they indicate in that list traje, it's going to be el traje, masculine. So great question. Love it, Chris. Appreciate it. Okay, vamos a. Okay,
Shannon had a question in the chat.
Oh, I missed it. Let's see here. Let's roll back. Amanda. Okay. Yes. I think Amanda had a question as well. Sorry, speaking to the mic here. Do we have to say, okay, I already answered that, and then the M, and then let's go down to Shannon. So we would always use un and una before the noun and not use de. That is right. So de shows possession or what it's made of. Let me give an example. I would say, the book is Adam's book. In English, we have this little line here and then an S to indicate, well, Adams would only just for one line because my name ends in S. But let's just say David's book, apostrophe S, David's book. In Spanish, we say el libro de David. So it shows possession de. We wouldn't say David's libro. It also shows what it's made of. So if I said my sweater is made of algodón, which is cotton, I would say el suéter de algodón. That's why when a student wrote una camisa de rosa, I think it was saw that earlier, that would be basically saying the shirt is made of roses. It's showing what it's made of de, of. So de takes on a lot of things like what it's made of, possession, where I'm from. Yo soy de California. The shirt is of cotton, or the sweater. El suéter es de algodón. And it shows possession. El suéter de Adams. It's Adam's sweater. So we don't need it just attached to it. So suéter negro, suéter gris, suéter azul. Great question. And un and una, it's just about context. So we either use un and una or el and la, and we can use the plural versions. But if I say I eat pizza, I wouldn't say I eat the pizza, just like yo como pizza. But if I say I'm wearing llevo, well, when you use llevo, you typically would use the articles. Sometimes in English, in Spanish, you're not going to get a word for word translation. So I'm wearing a, which is logical if I use a. I'm wearing a gray sweater. I'm wearing black pants. Now, notice in English, I didn't say some black pants, but in Spanish, we say I'm wearing a sweater and some black pants. Yo llevo un suéter gris y unos pantalones negros. Now, in real life, if you did not say unos and just simply said pantalones negros, that's completely fine. I mean, nobody's going to critique you on that. But anyway, so sometimes it might not be specific word for word, but that's a great question. No need the day unless it's made of something or possession. Okay, hopefully I answered that question, and thanks for pointing it out there. Vamos a seguir. Now, la semana pasada, last week, ¿recuerdan? Do you guys remember? We read a little bit of information about Eloy. Eloy Ramírez Obando es Mexicano Americano or Chicano. So parents were from Mexico, but he was born in I believe, California. In the bottom, he says that. Oh, it says right there. He's studying in California. Es un chico estudioso y trabajador. We're not going to read this again, but we're going to see a little video with Eloy, and he meets somebody. This is a little video version. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I want us to experience a little bit of interaction in the target language through a video, and then we'll have some follow-up comments on it. Okay. Momento. Bring that over here. Excelente. Gracias por Actually, you know what? Let me do that again. Share my screen. Go back to this because I need to get out of this. I apologize. Give me a second here. Okay, that's fine. I'll go ahead and stop sharing. Let's go back here. Okay. Lo siento. And let's find the video. There we go. And we're back into it. Okay, here we go. Gracias por su paciencia. Gracias por su paciencia. Okay, I'm assuming everybody could see that. Excelente.
Vamos, vamos, tú puedes, España. Dale, dale. A la izquierda. España, dale, dale, España. Ah, qué nervios.
Okay. I'm going to rewind it real quick because I want to put on the subtitles. I want you to read in Espanol while you listen. And once again, you might not understand everything, and that's not the point, okay? The point is to get that mass amount of input constantly.
The screen is frozen right before the video started.
Vamos,
So
vamos.
for us, it's just blank.
Is it not playing? I mean,
It's not playing on
I
our
can
side.
I can hear the audio, but the video is not.
oh, the video's not running. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's figure out what's going on there. You know, can you see the video now?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm going to try to run it. Let's see here. Let's try do that again. Let's see if you can. I think when I widescreen it, it stops it. So let's see if we can do it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, let's do it that way. It's a little bit smaller, but at least we get access to it.
Vamos, vamos, tú puedes, España. Dale, dale. A la izquierda. España, dale, dale, España. Ah, qué nervios. Muy buena. Pero ahora a la roja. Yeah, I did it. No.
A la roja. He's saying roja, roja a lot. A la roja. He's rooting for Spain. He's got the red shirt on. He's rooting for the Spanish team. A la roja. It's like for roja. Let's go roja. So that when he says a la roja, it's in favor of like let's go roja is really what it's equivalent to saying.
Vamos. Roja, roja. Arriba la camiseta roja. Dale, dale, dale. Vamos a la izquierda. Wow, pero qué estrés. Ay, Dios mío. ¿Y tú? A la azul. Ay, perdona. I mean, sorry.
Now, a little double meaning there. He's also throwing at a la roja. So he's throwing it towards the red bin. And now he says a la azul, which I don't know if the other team's got the blue color, but you've got a little double meaning going on here.
No, no, no te preocupes, no hay problema. Vos, ¿tú hablas español?
Sí, hablo español.
Ah, sos.
Okay, if you're confused at what vos and sos is, I will explain.
¿Eres hispano?
Sí, bueno, no. Sí,
No entiendo. ¿Eres hispano o no eres hispano?
sí y no. Soy chicano. Mi familia es de México, pero yo soy de California.
¡Ay, qué interesante! Tenés dos culturas.
Gracias. ¿Y tú eres hispano?
Sí, soy de Paraguay.
¡Ah, bien! ¡Gol! Excelente. La camiseta roja es excelente. Mira, magnífico el número 6.
¿Llevas la camiseta roja del equipo de España?
Sí, mi equipo favorito. That's my team.
Es mi color favorito también.
¡Arriba el color rojo! ¿Cómo te llamas?
Yo soy Claudia, ¿y tú?
Soy Eloy. It rhymes. Soy Eloy.
Sí, rima, soy Eloy. Eres muy cómico, Eloy.
Y tú eres muy simpática.
Ay, gracias.
Mucho gusto.
Igualmente, encantada.
¿Qué estudias aquí en Berkeley?
Soy estudiante de economía. ¿Y tú?
Yo estudio biología.
¡Ay, qué bueno, Eloy! ¿Estudias biología y hablas español? Ah,
¿Qué?
tengo una idea, Eloy.
¿Una idea?
¿Formamos un club?
¿Un club?
Sí, un club de amigos, un club internacional de español.
Muy buena idea, Claudia. Así practico mi español.
Sí, dale, anota mi
Un
teléfono.
momento. Ah, tu nombre es Claudia. ¿Y tu apellido?
Cuellar. Claudia Cuellar.
Cuellar se escribe con ella, ¿verdad?
Sí, se escribe C-U, con acento, L-L-A-L.
¿Y tu número?
Sí, es el 510-555-1764.
Gracias, Claudia.
Tu turno.
Ah, mi nombre es Eloy.
Con rima. Soy Eloy. ¿Y tu apellido?
Ramírez. Eloy Ramírez. Y mi número de teléfono es el 510-555-3932.
Gracias. Sí.
¿Mi email también?
Sí, ¿por qué no? Dame tu correo electrónico.
Es ERAMO at. ¿Cómo se dice at en español?
Se dice arroba.
Arroba. Entonces mi correo es ERAMO@berkeley.edu. ¿Ya?
¿Así?
Ajá.
Perfecto. Entonces, mañana te llamo, ¿está bien?
Sí, claro. You bet.
Dale, tengo clase pronto. Nos vemos, un gusto, Eloy.
Hasta mañana, Claudia. Un club. Qué buena idea. Vamos, Roja, vamos, Roja.
A
Una de
la
seis.
roja.
Dale a la izquierda, a la derecha. Derecha. ¡Golazo! El número 6 nunca me falla.
Okay. Okay. Excelente. Okay. Some of this requires a little bit of explanation. So we'll go ahead and get into that. Excelente. I love these little mini videos that you can watch over and over again. Okay. Perfecto. Aquí estamos. Okay. Set this up real quickly. I'm going to get the chat opened up and the participants. There we go. All right. One thing that you heard in the video is a couple different ways to say my name is. And I know we learned me llamo Adams. You can also say mi nombre es Adams or yo soy Adams. So, hey, what's your name? I call myself Adams. My name is Adams. I am Adams. The more typical of the two would be me llamo, although mi nombre es is perfectly fine and people use it all the time. What they did say that was a little confusing is she came out of the gate saying vos. I don't want you to get tripped up by this by any means. It is in the book and it was brought up. I'll clarify it. We use, as we talked about last week with the subject pronouns, tú for you and usted for you. So if I say, hola, ¿cómo estás tú? How are you? Or profesor, ¿cómo está usted? How are you? There is a third way that's used, and it's more colloquial. It's vos. Not every country uses it. In fact, the main countries that use it, she noticed where she was from. Anybody want to write that in the chat? Anybody pick up on that, where she was from? We know that he is Chicano or Mexicano, Californiano, Americano. Good, excelente. Yes, Haley, that is absolutely correct. Paraguay. Now, in that area of South America, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, it's very popular to use vos to express you, like you. It's a third way of doing it. It's not taught in many Spanish classes because it's not a common way of doing it. Just it exists, it's there. You don't have to memorize it. Also, countries like Guatemala, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, they also use vos. In fact, when I learned my Spanish originally a long time ago, I lived in Central America, and the people that I spoke with only used usted or vos. They didn't use tú at all. So I learned Spanish using vos. I don't in my current life. My wife is from Spain, and they don't use vos in Spain. It's just tú and usted. So there's no vos. With my buddy, though, when I get together with my buddy from Guatemala, I use vos all the time. So it's nothing that you have to memorize, but she said it, and it has a little different conjugation of verbs. Like you have, tienes. Vos would be drop the I, add an accent mark over the second E. And once again, don't need to remember this, but I didn't want to freak you out, you seeing it and hearing vos. What they did use is a lot of this vocabulary: equipo, economía, biología, tu turno, your turn, or you can say te toca, mañana te llamo, tomorrow I call you, or I'll call you. So I'd like you to maybe go back and rewatch the video a few times. It's also found in your digital textbook. And this is a great way to receive that mass amount of information constantly. Notice how she said, ¿Cómo te llamas? And then, soy Claudia. Mi nombre es Eloy. So a couple different ways of express. I am Claudia. Me llamo Claudia. Or mi nombre es Eloy. Me llamo Eloy. These are options. Tu apellido. Anybody know what apellido is? Tu apellido?
Your surname?
Yes, surname, your last name, tu apellido. In a lot of Spanish-speaking world, they use two last names. So your paternal last name from your father and your maternal last name, which would be your mother's maiden name, and then you attach it. So very cool cultural thing there. Excelente, muy bien. Vamos a ver, entonces tenemos aquí el uso de los pronombres. So we're going to forget about vos. We're just going to continue right on. La semana pasada, last week, we learned yo, tú, usted, él, ella, nosotros, vosotros, which is you guys in Spain, ustedes, you guys in Latin America, and ellos, ellas, which is they. Ellos, ellas, they. We also learned a little bit about the articles, el, la, los, las. And what I want to focus on right now is a little bit of the gender and complementing each other, how they agree always. And we're going to recycle the verb ser. We're going to recycle this verb ser, use it a lot. Like I would say, yo soy profesor, I'm a teacher. Or yo soy joven, I am young, wink, wink. Okay, excelente. Ella es, she is, ella es una chica alta. Notice how we have she is, it's singular. Ella es una chica alta. She is a tall girl. And often that adjective is attached at the end. We don't put ella es una alta chica. There are cases where you do put it before the noun, but those are things that I'll just point out as we go. But typically it's at the end. Ella es una chica alta. So we have nouns that have masculine and feminine nature to them, not because girls use them or guys use a computer, una computadora, which is funny because una computadora is feminine, una computadora. In Spain, they say ordenador, which is masculine, un ordenador. So it has nothing to do with male or female. It's just a term we use to give a gender to the word, to use el or la appropriately. Okay. Masculine nouns typically end in O. Feminine nouns typically end in an A, but you've got the exceptions where it's sion or dad or tud. Those typically are feminine as well. Look at this one. Madrid es una ciudad muy bonita. Or la civilización Maya fue muy avanzada. You can see the translations right there, but ciudad bonita, civilización avanzada. They're all feminine. Now, if it were masculine, it would be bonito, avanzado. All right. So the words that end in ad, tad, tud typically are feminine. So this is just to kind of to help you out and push you in the right direction. Don't worry about when you speak, though. I just don't want you to stress about, you want to speak casually and freely and try to use the correct ending. But if you say soy un hombre alta and you mess up on the alto and alta, I mean, these are small, tiny errors. When you're speaking, don't stress about that. But obviously, as you go, you'll become a little bit more familiar and they'll start to come out naturally. But in terms of masculine, feminine, grammatically, let's read this. Spanish speakers do not perceive things such as notebooks, doors as male and female, as I was saying before. On the other hand, if I refer to an actual person, though, yes, we would attach it like el amigo, my male friend. El amigo es alto. My female friend, la amiga es alta. So that would change if we're referring to people. Eloy es mi amigo y Claudia es mi amiga. But I could say, Claudia lleva un vestido rojo. So Claudia is used, but we're modifying vestido, which ends in an O. So if we can distinguish that frame of thought, that would be beneficial. Okay. A couple things to point out here. Adjectives generally follow nouns, and please don't stress about it. They go before nouns in some cases. I got a couple examples right here for you. When you talk about the white snow, it's actually la blanca nieve. It is what it is. Another example would be if I were to say my beautiful wife, I can say mi guapa esposa. So there are certain reasons why we might. Sometimes it can go before and after. And the word that I'm coming to my mind is buena, bueno, buena. Like she is a good person. I can say, ella es una buena persona o ella es una persona buena. So I don't want you to get bogged down on what goes before or what can possibly do both. As a general rule, at your level of ability, it's usually going to go after the noun. So we would say zapatos nuevos, camisas blancas, corbatas bonitas, sombreros negros. Okay. And the singular and plural male or masculine, feminine, excuse me, apply to this. Viejo, viejos, vieja, viejas. It's got to agree in gender number. Claudia lleva un suéter, singular masculine, bonito, un suéter bonito, y una falda larga y roja. See how they all agree? Mis zapatos de tenis negros son, and notice how this verb ser is also plural. We're talking about my shoes. My shoes are, not my shoes is. My shoes are black and old. Mis zapatos de tenis negros son viejos. I'm sorry, my black shoes are old. So we have a description here and we use ser. I always like to tell my students between ser and estar, how we feel, where we are, always use estar. But when we're describing something, like the characteristic of something, in my black shoes are old, we always use ser. And the conjugation we know is soy, eres, es. Somos, sois, son. In this case, plural, son. Mis zapatos son viejos. It's a little bit of a review there. I've underlined the verbs to help us out. Azul, azules. What's going on here? Words that don't have an ending of O or an A can be tricky. And words that end in a vowel or consonant. So right here, we really don't have to worry about gender on these words. Azul does not end in an O or an A. In fact, these are all adjectives. So we modify them how we please. So let's just take the one prior to this. I'm going to go back here just so we're not confused. Let's go to the larga and roja. I can make that, or this viejo. I can go viejo, vieja, viejos, viejas, because these are adjectives. Adjectives change according to the noun. The noun doesn't change. It's the adjective that changes. So if I have a camisa, it's a camisa vieja. If I have a vestido, it's a vestido viejo. So vestido, vestida, it doesn't, like if my sister wants to wear pants, it's not going to be pantalonas. Pantalonas. The nouns don't change. It's all the adjectives. But when we have an adjective that ends in a consonant or vowel, the good thing is don't have to worry about gender. It's either plural or singular. So una camisa azul. It's not camisa azula or azulo. It's just camisa azul, suéter azul, anything, a libro azul, a bolígrafo azul, una mesa azul, azul, anything singular is azul. To make it plural, you add an ES. Now, if it already ends in a vowel, you just add an S. So let's take elegante. Un vestido elegante versus dos vestidos elegantes. So the singular and plural, one is ES if it ends in a consonant, and one is S if it ends in a vowel, but they don't have gender at all because they end in some other letter other than A or an O. So that kind of helps. Now, this last one, little trickier. Pesimista. Pesimista does end in an A, and I wish I could say that everything was just clear as day, but it's not. There are some ambiguity. There are some adjectives that end in an A or some other, well, I'm just going to say A, the ones I could think of right now, that are both masculine and feminine. So, for example, él es pesimista. He is a pessimist. Ella es pesimista. She is a pessimist. We're not going to say él es pesimisto. Now, here's another one that's coming to my mind that does the same thing. If I'm describing an athletic person, you can use the word atlético, which does change, but I'm going to use the word deportista. So deportista also means athletic. So I can use atlético and change it. I can say él es atlético, ella es atlética, ellos son atléticos, ellas son atléticas. But the word deportista is in this list right here. It doesn't change gender like pesimista. It's él es deportista, ella es deportista. So you'll just start becoming familiar with the ones that do that little trickery. Let's read these examples. Xiomara lleva una blusa azul y zapatos azules. So there's no reason to think whether it should be masculine or feminine. It's just singular or plural. Azul, azules. Blusa azul, zapatos azules. Mi amigo Franklin es pesimista, pero mi amiga Estefania, es optimista. So we've got another word here that they just brought out to you. It's the opposite of a pessimist. It's an optimist, but it does the same thing as a pessimist. So pesimista is not pesimisto. Optimista is never optimisto. It's either singular or plural. Ellos son optimistas. Ellas son optimistas. So it's kind of easier because you don't have to worry about gender, but it also is tricky because there's a list of random words that do that. And with your experience, you just start seeing them pop up every now and then. But here's some to look at to begin with. Yo soy joven, young. Jóvenes. So, yo no soy joven, I am not young, pero todos mis amigos son jóvenes, but all of my friends are young. Once again, singular, plural. I don't have to worry about like she is young. Ella es jovena, doesn't exist. Él es joveno, doesn't exist. It's just joven or jóvenes. So in that case, that's a thumbs up. Okay. All right. One last rule, and then we're going to practice a bit. Thank you for your patience. If an adjective modifies a masculine or feminine noun at the same time, the adjective takes on the masculine form. That's kind of what I was saying last week, where if you've got a whole bunch of girls and there's one guy, it's ellos and not ellas. So look at these examples, what I'm talking about. Claudia es creativa y filosófica. Beautiful. We've got feminine, feminine. Claudia, beautiful. No change. Creativa, filosófica. Feminine, singular. Beautiful. Another one. Mi blusa y mi falda. These are both feminine objects or objects that require the feminine article. Mi blusa, if I were to single it out, mi blusa blanca, mi falda blanca. They're both blanca. So I can say son blancas. See how that the math does on that? Blusa blanca, falda blanca, that means son blancas. But here we got something going on. We also have the word creativos, but not only do we have Claudia, we're throwing in Eloy, a dude. So Eloy y Claudia son creativos, and it'll default for the masculine every time. So I can say a billion women y Eloy son creativos y filosóficos. It'll be plural because there's more than one person. Notice that S is there, plural, but it's all default to masculine if there is a male presence. Mi blusa, and this is with items that require a masculine article. Mi blusa, which is blanca, but my vestido is blanco, not blanca, blanco. So that trumps everything and changes it to blancos, even though you got blusa there. Mi blusa y mi vestido son blancos. My blouse and dress are white. Confusing? Hopefully we can see that. Yeah, I see some smiles there. Okay. Kind of confusing, but it defaults to the masculine. Okay. Bien. Vamos. Vamos, vamos, vamos. Yo soy, tú eres, es, ella es, nosotros somos, soy, son. La semana pasada hablamos del verbo ser. Vamos a practicar. Quiero practicar. Okay. En el chat, this is what we're going to do. En el chat, el automóvil, we have nuevo and pequeño. We've got las blusas, and we've got three things. Rojo, viejo, feo. Your task is to try to write a sentence by using those adjectives. And then we're going to incorporate the verb ser. So to help you out, I'm going to give it to you right there. Soy, eres, es. And we're going to focus on probably es and son because we're talking about items or people in the third person. So no need to use soy, eres, somos, sois. Las blusas rojas son viejas y feas. El automóvil es nuevo y pequeño. What that means is the automobile is new and small. The red blouses are old and ugly. Okay. Muy bien. Número uno. How can I say the women are considerate and hard workers? That's what those words mean. Considerado and trabajador. You'll have to change them according to gender and number. How do we do that? There's a question that I can answer a little bit by Amanda. Oh, I've got a couple questions. While you're writing in that in the chat, if you can write that in there, I'll give you the first one to show you what I'm talking about. Is there more of a preference to llamo versus nombre versus yo soy? No, no preference. Soy is very common. Hey, yo soy Grant. That's my first name, by the way. Yo soy Grant. But if you were going to say my name is, I hear in my personal life more often me llamo versus mi nombre es. Maybe on a survey, you're doing a survey. What is your name, sir? My name is, and that might be appropriate. But if I'm just saying, hey, I want to introduce you to my friend. What's your name? ¿Cómo te llamas? That would be more common, me llamo. When giving their phone numbers, why is it es el, oh yeah, instead of just es? Yeah, that's a good question. Mi número es el, is the, yeah, I say that all the time too. Es el. You sometimes when you're stating that I'm wearing the pants, llevo unos, I'm wearing some pants, I don't have a clear answer for you. But if you did say es, mi número es, and then start out with the number, that still wouldn't be wrong. It's okay. It's okay. And it sounds okay to do that. Las mujeres son, okay, good. We already got some answers coming down. All right. So las mujeres son consideradas y trabajadoras. The women are considerate and hard workers. Notice how we changed considerado, consideradas, and trabajador to trabajadoras. That was a tough one, trabajadoras. Okay, número dos. Los chicos, perezoso creativo. Vamos, vamos, vamos. Okay, los chicos is plural. What are we doing? Mama, okay, good, excelente. A lot of good answers there. A lot of good answers there. Okay. Excelente. Okay, excelente. Why do we have an E in consideradas y trabajadores? Good answer. I'm going to go back to that. Los chicos. Oh, I just gave you the answer. Let's go back to this. I didn't mean to do that. Las mujeres son consideradas y trabajadoras. Y is saying and. The women are considerate and hardworking. So it's just combining the two and with the word and. Y. Okay, excelente. All right, muy bien. Los chicos son perezosos y creativos. ¿Cómo se dice perezosos y creativos? The chicos are lazy and creative. Interesting combination there. Okay, excelente. Número 3. ¿Cómo se dice número 3? ¿Cuál es la respuesta? Ok, singular, excelente. Muy bien, excelente. Excelente. Ok, muy bien. El libro es interesante y difícil. Excelente. The book is interesting and difficult. Now, since we did not have an A or an O at the end of these words, it was a consonant and a vowel, we didn't have to worry about gender. We didn't have to say interesanto or difficilo. All we had to worry about was the number, singular, plural, singular, plural. If I had los libros, I would change este son, los libros son interesantes y difíciles. Good, excelente. Número 4. Vamos. Número 4. Gracias por participar. Okay. Okay. Got 3 adjectives there. Nice job. Now, the same rule applies in English as it does to Spanish. When we have multiple like this, and this, you have the option to write a comma in. I think it's called the Oxford comma, or just use E. So you can use the comma and E or just E. I prefer just using E in Spanish, but you definitely don't want to put E in between all of them. So it would be like a lot of your writing, excelente. Los zapatos son blancos, comma, nuevos, y pequeños. So the shoes are white, new, and small. Notice how we change all of them to blancos, nuevos, pequeños. Okay, número 5. Los políticos. You guys like that sentence? It's a funny sentence. Okay. Good. Thank you for chiming in there. Excelente. I'm looking at all your responses. A good spelling there too. I know we have it mostly spelled, but I like the shifts of adjectives. So, los políticos, little accent mark there, son mentirosos y agresivos. So the politicians are liars and aggressive. Okay, número 6. Número 6. El sombrero. Now, this is not a baseball cap. It's any other hat besides a baseball cap. Okay. Oh, you guys are quick. Beautiful. Excelente. Okay. Muy bien. El sombrero es negro, elegante y caro. The hat is black, elegant, and expensive. So this is kind of a real good way to review some of our adjectives. Recycle some of the words that's found in the book. I like the use of this. Good. The way you learn it is to use it. Número 7, la amiga. La amiga. I like that word, impulsiva. Sounds like English, actually. Okay. Excelente, Juliana, Marisa, Sadida. Everybody's participating. Haley, Shannon, Amanda, Ariana, Peter. Good. Excelente. Good. Gracias por participar. Okay. Victor, muy bien. Excelente. Nice job. Excelente. La amiga. Oh, I went to the next one. Sorry about that. Let's go back. La amiga es impulsiva y sincera. So the friend is impulsive. Probably figured that one out. And sincere. Those look like English. Okay, número 8. Casas Amarilla. Okay, good. Excelente. Vieja, bonita. Wow. Okay. Okay. A lot of you guys are very quick typists. Excelente. Muy bien. La casa es amarilla, vieja y bonita. The house is yellow, old, and beautiful. Or pretty, but beautiful. Okay. Número 9. Dos más. Dos más. Los hermanos, the siblings, the brothers. It could be two brothers. It could be a brother and a sister. Remember, masculine default. So we don't know if it's two siblings that are two males or female and a male. We definitely know that they're not two sisters, though. That we do know. Good. So even if it were a sister and a brother, the answer would still be the same, wouldn't it? It always defaults to the masculine. Okay, muy bien, clase. Tenemos los hermanos son generosos y tímidos. The siblings are generous and timid. Okay, okay, excelente. Muy bien. Número 10. Vamos a ver número 10. Uno más, clase. Just looking at all your answers here. Okay. Okay, good, excelente. Las faldas son azules, cortas y bonitas. The skirts are blue, short, and pretty or beautiful. Okay, excelente. Muy bien, muy bien. Now, any point we can throw in a question there in the chat. Excelente. I always like to suggest that you do practice with a fellow classmate if you can organize that, a friend that's familiar with Spanish a little bit, and create kind of Q&As. You can say, hey, ¿qué llevas hoy? Yo llevo un suéter gris. Or ¿cómo te llamas? Yo me llamo Grant, or mi nombre es, or soy. You can kind of role play and practice these to simulate conversations as much as possible. Okay. Negation. What is that? La palabra no. No. And it's kind of different, a little shift. In a negative sentence, the word no precedes the verb. Now, I always like to go through grammatical topics that you're going to experience in the next week's module. So as you have seen, I have already posted module 3. Module 3, right? Well, the module that's supposed to be due next Friday. I think it's 3. Yeah. Yeah, because we did 1, 2. We're ending up 2. And I like to watch your discussion board or look at your discussion board prompts. And you have another one that's due by tomorrow, which, by the way, try not to wait till the last minute to do those because we require interaction. And if you wait till the very last minute, it's hard for other people to respond to yours. So it gives a little couple days in advance to help each other out. But the module that I just posted this morning, which technically I don't post until Saturday morning, but I always like to do it the day of our class in case you have questions. That's not due until next Friday, the 9th of February. That has information and Connect assignments dealing with what we've just been talking about. All these cool things that we're going over in the rules back here, these rules here under adjectives and nouns, that's all going to come into play this next week. So hopefully you got all the tools in your tool belt and you're ready to go for the Connect assignments. The negation. It's just a simple, las blusas no son bonitas. Look at the difference. The blouses are not pretty. En español, no son. No son, not son, no. Las blusas son no bonitas. No, no son. The syntax is different. Jorge no tiene un traje gris. Jorge does not have. Notice how it says does not. Look at that. That's really interesting. Does not have. Have is tiene. So does not is the word no. So that's very different. Not only in the first example, we have it the opposite order. Now we've got 2 words versus 1 word. Does not have. No tiene. Xiomara es una chica muy entusiasta. No es tímida. So she is not shy instead of not is shy. So once again, we have a little reverse order. Franklin no es mi novio. He is not my friend. That's a reverse order there. So when we're using ser, right here, ser, son, we have the little reverse order. When we're using tiene, we're having does not, little two words versus one word. Now, there is no additional word in Spanish that corresponds in English to the expressions don't or doesn't. In the example above, Jorge does not or doesn't. That combination of two words in English with the apostrophe T, that does not exist in this scenario in Spanish. It's just a no. Eloy no tiene. So a lot of my students will say, well, what does the word does mean? What does it mean? What does the word does? It doesn't mean anything. There is no translation in this scenario. Now, is there a word does? Like she does her homework? Yes. That's a whole different verb, whole different conversation. But in this scenario, when Jorge simply does not have possession of something, he does not have, that's not him doing something. It's having something. So it's a different context of the word does in English. Well, here it's just no. Eloy no tiene el pelo largo. He doesn't or does not have long hair. I don't have gray hair. That would be a lie because I actually do have gray hair. But yo no tengo el pelo canoso. Yo no. There's no does. If you literally translate does in the dictionary, it might come up with the word hace, H-A-C-E. But I wouldn't say Eloy hace no tiene un traje gris. I wouldn't literally do that word for word. It's Jorge no tiene un traje gris. No tiene. Okay. With that said, we got a little bit more further explanations when we got to clarify things. Now, when you're using sí or no, there's multiple ways you can respond. For example, we have here, Rodrigo, are you a student? ¿Eres estudiante? Sí, soy estudiante. Now, you can say, yes, I'm a student. You can also say, no, I am not a student. If you do that, notice how I have this little double no here? It's equivalent to saying, no, I am not. No, I am not. No, no soy. Is that no, comma, no soy estudiante. ¿Lleva una falda hoy, Camila? Does Camila is she wearing a skirt today? No, comma, Camila no lleva una falda. No, comma, Camila is not. Is not. Remember, it's just the no. No lleva falda. Now, you say, Camila no lleva una falda? Some of you might be asking, can we throw in this little A here? Una, like a skirt? Sure, you can. Nobody's going to bite your hand if you do that. Typically, in this case, you don't. Ella no lleva falda. But if you said no lleva una falda, it would be completely fine. Hoy lleva pantalones. Today, she's wearing pants. Could I say, hoy lleva unos pantalones? Sure. That's perfectly fine. Lleva falda. Claudia lleva falda. So she's wearing pants. And today, she's wearing pants. Claudia is wearing a skirt. Okay. This last example, and then we'll practice it. Omar, ¿eres mexicano? Omar, are you Mexican? No, soy de Ecuador. Now, what if I wanted to say, no, I am not Mexican? You would say no, comma, no soy Mexicano, or no soy de Mexico. Sorry, we'll use the same structure here. So no, comma, no soy de Mexico, or no, comma, soy de Ecuador. So it's equivalent to this. No, I'm not Mexican, or no, comma, I am Ecuadorian, or I'm from Ecuador in this case. ¿Cuesta $40 este vestido? Does that cost $40? No, it costs this amount. I could have said, no cuesta $40. No, it doesn't cost $40. So a lot of options to express ourselves as long as we use no and no, comma, no, or no, comma, yes. and we're going to be able to practice it through this activity, and I'll show you how. Okay. Through the example, son unos vaqueros, once again, pantalones, jeans, for example, pantalones cortos. So here they're saying, are they jeans? The answer is going to be, they are not. They're shorts. So here they said, no, they are not jeans. Next option, no, they are shorts. Last option, no, they are not jeans, period. They are shorts. So we kind of recycled that first answer and included what they are. You see what we did there? So I kind of want you to do the same just to get used to using all these wonderful, cool word plays. We'll do another one down below. Es una niña. So is she a girl or a little girl? No, she's a little boy. He's a little boy. So no, no es una niña. That's no, she is not a little girl. Other option. No, es un niño. No, she's a little boy. Last option. No, no es una niña, period. Es un niño. No, she's not a little girl, period. She is a boy. So I want us to do that same pattern on all of these. I'm going to do the first one with you. ¿Qué es? ¿Es una falda? What is that? Is that a skirt? No, it's a dress. So I would say, once again, we can use es here because we're saying es una, or son. We're using plural. Down here we have son. So no, no es una falda. No, it's not a skirt. Or no, es un vestido. No, it's a dress. Or no, no es una falda. Es un vestido. ¿Ok? ¿Todo bien? Perfecto. Ustedes, ahora ustedes. Meryl Streep, ¿es hombre? Vamos a ver. It might take you a little bit to type it out. Now, you can either type out one of the three examples, or you can type out all of the examples. Let your fingers do the walking. Vamos, vamos. And in fact, I see everybody that's got their camera on. On the next one, I'm going to take volunteers. I'm going to have you unmic it and verbally tell us. See if we could do that. I'll just have a wave of hand because I could see all your faces. So you just have to just do that and I'll call on you. For this first one, we'll have people type it out. Let's see here. Vamos, vamos, vamos. We're typing it out. Start seeing answers pop up a few seconds now. Okay. I see your guys' minds working, so you must be typing out the answer. A lot of you are ambitious, probably typing out it all out. Okay, so no es una falda is definitely the first answer we got here. We're talking about Meryl Streep. In fact, let me delete this one just so we can see. We're doing número dos. So no es okay. Okay, we'll clarify that. No, Meryl Streep. No, okay, you can say that. That's definitely a legit answer. No, Meryl Streep. No es hombre. That's clear. No es un hombre. Perfectly acceptable. Now you don't need the article un, but if you have it, no sweat. It's all good. No, ella es el hombre. Okay, we'll help you with that wording there. No, ella es la mujer. Okay, we're going to help a little bit out with the wording. We're throwing in a couple of items that might not be necessary. No es un hombre. Okay, that's a clear sentence. No es un hombre. Okay, so what I have is a couple options here. So we can say no es hombre. No, she's not a man. Or no, es mujer. No, she's a woman. Or combine them. No es hombre, es mujer. No, she's not a man, she's a woman. Got those options. Now we don't need el or la. Could we say un or una? Optional. Grammatically, it probably is better not to. In fact, there's a fun fact here. I'm going to show you. Es mujer. It's typically heard as es mujer without the una. And I know it's strange in our brain because we want to say she is a woman. In our English speaking mind, we want to say a. So why can't I say it in Spanish? Here's the good part. You can. Grammatically, it's better if you don't, but nobody's going to care if you say es una mujer. In fact, it's acceptable. But the grammatical rule, if you want to know, is when you add an adjective. Remember we tack on an adjective, joven or baja or alta, whatever adjective we want to use for mujer. Whenever we throw in an adjective, we have to put in the article. So that second sentence, es una mujer joven, is valid and correct. When I take out the joven and just say woman, I actually take out the article as well. So if I were to say, I am a teacher, it would be more valid or grammatically sound if I said, soy profesor. I don't need to say, soy un profesor. I can, don't need to. Soy un profesor, it's acceptable. Soy profesor. But if I say let's use something else, like a lazy teacher. Hopefully I don't come across that way, but a lazy teacher, I would say, soy un profesor perezoso. I throw in the article, un profesor perezoso. Okay? Perfecto. Now we've got the next one here. A ver, es muy alto Jack Black. And the answer is he's short. Any valiant students that would love to try to say a valid sentence to respond to that? I will see one little hand raised and call on you. Or not. Oh, Carter. Good, good. Valiente, brave, valiente. What would we say, Carter?
No, Jack Black es bajo.
Okay. No. Jack Black es bajo. Okay, excelente. No, we don't even need to use his name again. We can just say no, es bajo. Now you can say Jack Black is bajo. Fine, you clarify who we're talking about. Can we do anything else? What if I wanted to say no, Jack Black is not tall? How would I do that, Carter? So instead of saying no, he is short, I want to say he is not tall. No, he is not tall.
No es alto.
Slow clap. Excelente. Muy bien. Excelente. No es alto or muy alto in this case. No es bajo. Excuse me. No es bajo. Or no es muy alto, es bajo. So we've got he is not very tall. He is short versus no, he is not very tall. He is short. Now we can throw in Jack Black with that. We sure could. We could say, no, Jack Black no es muy alto. No, Jack Black es bajo. We can totally do that. I took it out because we already know who we're talking about. But yes, you can do that. Okay, muy bien. Excelente. That was so good. A ver, we got a little more difficult one here. Any brave volunteers to try to say one valid sentence with ¿Es la pequeña Habana una zona de Nueva York? Wow, that is a difficult one. All right, why don't we type in a sample? Let's see what type of results we get. Type in a sample. Let's see what results we get in the chat. You don't need to type it all out. It's very lengthy. Pick one of the three options. You can either say, what it's asking is the small Habana an area in New York? We're going to say, no, it's an area in Florida. Or no, it's not an area in New York. Or the combination of the two. Beautiful, Carter, but don't forget the S. Don't forget that little verb S. Very important. And I love, technically we can probably say that. Let's see here, Haley, but I want to use una zona. Let's include una zona. Yes, Andres. No, es una zona de Florida. Good. That's beautiful. Beautiful, Andres. Okay, excelente. Excelente. Beautiful. Excelente, Shannon. Muy bien. Muy bien. Okay, Juliana. Okay. Standing. Excelente. No, es una. Yeah, excelente. And I believe Juliana is our wonderful student in Italy, right? Yeah. Hopefully you're sipping on a glass of Chianti while you're up at 4 a.m, whatever it is. All right, muy bien. A ver, no es una zona de Nueva York. Or no, es una zona de Florida. No, no es una zona de Nueva York. Es una zona de Florida. Okay, excelente. We're now going to go through a little bit more quicker because I'm looking at the clock. Sometimes teachers have a little break in between. We've been doing a lot of stuff, and I'll try to not keep you until 8 most nights. I mean, I appreciate you sticking it out. I just want to make sure you're really prepared for these next modules. Okay. Número 5, we've got son zapatos de mujer. I wanted to point this out. No, no son de mujer. No, son de hombre. Now, could we say zapatos? No. No son zapatos de mujer. Sure. But I just said no son de mujer. They're not of the women. We don't have to repeat zapatos. They are not men's. They are not women's. That's how it would translate. No. No. Oh. That is a type O. Fixing it right now. Right now, right in front of you. Definitely want to fix that. There was a typo, and I'm going to fix it and show it to you. Anybody catch that? I had it singular at the second example. Shame on me for having it singular. Okay, let me go and bring it back up here. Sorry, I lost my screen here. I'm going to fix it in live time here because I do not want to lead you astray. That was a singular response, and we're using son the entire time, right? Okay, so let me get back into that one. ¿Dónde estamos? Okay. Nope. There we go. Son de Florida. Okay. La mujer. Okay. And then no. No son de mujer. And then, of course, son de hombre. Apologize for that. I picked it up right away. My eyes saw it. And I'm like, ooh, whoopsie daisy. All right. Let's get that back in there. Here we go. Okay. Now we've got it. I dropped out of it fairly quickly. Probably didn't even notice. I did, and it was an eyesore. So I had no es de mujer. We're still talking about zapatos. Should have been plural. So no son de mujer, son de hombre. Son de hombre, not es de hombre. That would be a singular, like un zapato, right? Okay, 6. Let's do this together. La corbata cuesta. Got a whole different verb here. So let's see what you do in the chat. Got a whole different verb here. La corbata cuesta $40. What do we have? La corbata cuesta $40. Okay. We've got, I want to see what your answers are. So the tie costs $40. And I want to say no, it costs $25. Now, we don't have to use es or ser. We have to use just cuesta. We keep that verb. So keep it there. It costs. Or I can say, no, it doesn't cost $40. And that word it, remember, it is not there. It's just simply cuesta. Cuesta. I could repeat la corbata, but I could just say, no, good, beautiful, Marisa, right away. Okay, no, la corbata, good, excelente. I believe it's $25. No, cuesta 25. No cuesta 40. Good, those are great answers. Good. No cuesta $40. No, cuesta $25. No cuesta. Can anybody point out, and I don't mind if you unmute yourself, can anybody point out something curious about what we're looking at? Any type of formatting that looks weird, looks off, looks different?
The period and the comma are different in different
Yeah.
places.
Yes.
It's the European style.
Yes, Spanish, really, Spanish style. It's in the Spanish language, but yes, European as well. Yes, good call on both of you, Marisa, and I didn't see who chimed in on that last part. But so here it is. Let's take euros because that's a common European currency that's used in Spain, of course. So the comma and the period are actually reversed. So we've got 1,324 and 25 cents. It's interesting when I'm visiting my wife's family in Spain. Sometimes I'll use my mother-in-law's computer and I'll pull up my bank information just out of curiosity for whatever reason. And through her computer, everything's all configured for Spanish, it will actually give all of the numbers in that format. It'll have the euro symbol and it'll have the comma 25 for 25 cents, for example. It's very curious. Fun fact. Okay. Vamos. Here we go. Let's do this one here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead. We'll show you this one. ¿Es Madrid la capital de México? No, no es de México. Es de España. Okay. La capital es de España. So we don't really need to say la capital. We can just say es de España. Is it the cap? Es Madrid, is Madrid the capital of Mexico? No, it's of Spain. It's not of Mexico. We can repeat la capital, and that's come up in other examples, but not necessary. Last one is just like what we've been doing before. This is very similar to number 4. I'm rushing through these last two because I only have a few minutes left, and I wanted to show you this. Now, don't be nervous. We're not going to read it all. It's very lengthy, and it's got some additional vocab that you're not familiar with. But at the end of every single lesson, I always want to take the last few minutes. And if we have more time, the better. But we only have about 6 or so minutes or 10 minutes. I wanted to read a little bit of it. So I'm going to go piece by piece. I always like to have a student read, if you can, a volunteer. We can pick it apart, point out what we do know, what we don't know. It's that exposure, that mass amount of information. And we need to read and read. So we picked up the very first part. Excuse me. So Marco Gonzalez wrote the letter, and Felipe is the receiver of it. So saludos, Marcos. He wrote it. Hola, Felipe. And obviously the topic is La Escuela de Valencia. Okay, so they're in Spain. Valencia is a region in Spain. And let's go ahead and let's take that first sentence stopping at bien. And I would love to have people read. Can I randomly call on you? If you don't want to read, just unmute and say, I prefer not. I'm going to start on the top. Shannon, could we start you off here?
Sure. Hola, Felipe. ¿Cómo estás? Yo estoy muy bien.
Okay. ¿Cómo estás? Yo estoy muy bien. Fácil, ¿no? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Yo estoy muy bien. Excelente. Amanda.
Este año estudió en un programa de intercambio
Ajá.
en el Colegio San José en Valencia, España.
Okay. Muy bien. Muy buena pronunciación. Este año, this year, estudio, we're going to learn what's called AR verbs. It's conjugated. I study, estudio en un programa. Notice how this word ends in an A, but it's un. We saw that a couple times last week, I think. Some words that end in A have a masculine article. This specifically, because it comes from Greek, a lot of these languages have evolution to them. So un programa instead of una programa. It's like the word problema, problem. It's un problema and not una problema. Those are these fun facts. So programa de intercambio, which is translated right there. Interesting how colegio. Now, colegio, well, we'll continue, but typically a colegio refers to elementary school in Spain. You have something called an instituto, which is high school, and then la universidad. But in other countries, colegio could mean college. It could be a variety of levels of education. So it's not always universal, the word colegio, or other words for that matter. Okay, so it's a school. We know that in Valencia. Let's go ahead and continue with let's pick on Leisha. How are we doing on that? Maybe we can continue with tengo. If you're available. If you're not, that's fine. That's okay.
Tengo 7 clases
You got it. Interesantes.
interesantes.
Perfecto. Oh, keep going. Yeah, keep going.
En la primera hora tengo mathematics.
Muchas gracias. Excelente. So tengo, we know that word. You've seen it in other things like tengo 20 años. I am 25 years old, but in this case, it's like saying I have 25 years. So this literally means have. I have 6 classes. I'm sorry, 7, 7 clases interesantes. Notice how that adjective's after the noun? I have 7 interesting classes, and it's all numbers. So clases interesantes. Now, since interesante ended in an E, I didn't have to worry about gender at all. I just had to worry about number. Okay. Okay. And then you said en la primera hora. I love how this continues. In the first hour, primera is first. And this is one of the situations where the adjective, it's modifying hour, hora, comes before. It's giving this logical order of hour. Primera hora, segunda hora. And since it's a sequence, first, second, third, it's going to go before the noun. This is one of those unique moments. En la primera hora, in the first hour or first period, as people would say, tengo matemáticas. I have matemáticas. Very similar. So nice job reading. If we can pick on Sedita, could you continue, please?
Todo ese señor vida es muy serio, pero le gusta trabajar con los estudiantes.
Perfecto, excelente, Sedita. El profesor es el señor Ávila. So the professor is the Mr. Avila. Now, when you're saying Mr. Avila, you have to put the in front of it. I know it sounds awkward in English. The professor is Mr. Avila, not the Mr. Avila. But when you're using it in Spanish, you have to have that article. It's the teacher is the Mr., the Professor Adams, the Mr. Adams, el señor Avila. And thank you for continuing. Excuse me, I didn't say, you didn't read el, but it implies he is es muy serio. We know it's about Avila, so we don't need to say el. It's just es muy serio. He is very serious, pero le gusta trabajar con los estudiantes. Very big sentence here. But, great transition word, but he likes, le gusta, and we'll talk about gustar in one lesson completely. It requires a lot of conversation. He likes to work, trabajar, to work con los estudiantes, with the students. So we're learning a lot of these cool transition words, filler words, as I call them. All right. Can I ask Victor, can you continue, please? We can unmute ourselves maybe. If you're available. If you're not, that's fine. It's okay.
El problema con la clase es que la 13 es muy difícil.
Okay, perfecto, gracias. El problema. Wow, we found el problema. Didn't we have programa above? Un programa, el problema. You see these words that end in ama and emma. A lot of consistency there. It's kind of kooky. El problema, the problem, el problema con la clase, with the class. I like that we're recycling the words like with, con la clase es que, so literally says the problem with the class is that, luckily it sounds like English, is that the homework, la tarea, es muy difícil, is very difficult. Coincidentally, we have a sentence that we can translate word for word. Not always the case, but in this case, the problem with the class is that the homework is very difficult. It helps us out that it's similar in syntax and word order. Okay. All right, let's just have somebody finish it off because we're about at 8 o'clock. Any raise of hands quickly that can volunteer to read that very last part, last 2 sentences? I'll take the first hand that shoots up. Come on, somebody's got to volunteer. I know you. All right, I'm going to randomly call you. Okay, Carter, there you go, brave soul. Let's do this. En la segunda. Yeah, we're just going to read the rest.
En la segunda hora tengo la clase de biología. Me gusta estudiar las plantas, pero hay mucha información y la clase es difícil.
Excelente. Muy bien. Muy buena pronunciación. En la segunda hora, in the second hour or second period, tengo, that's popping up, I have la clase de biología. Now, notice I have biology class. That question was brought up as far as de goes. It's showing possession here. It's the type of class. I'm not possession, but the type of. It's like saying this is made of algodón. Well, this class is of biology. It's a biology class. La clase de biología. Okay. Me gusta, I like. Notice how that's different from le gusta. Le gusta is he likes. Me gusta is I like. Now, we'll talk about that later, but that literally doesn't mean he likes and I like. Because notice how I'm not saying yo. There's no yo there for I. It's actually saying working pleases him. So it's very tricky. And I'm not going to go into detail now because we definitely don't have time. But me gusta, for argument's sake, is studying, to study plants is pleasing to me. That's literally what it translates to. But we don't talk like that in English. We say, I like to study plants. So, me gusta estudiar las plantas. I like to study the plants, pero hay mucha información. Now, mucha used to be mucho, but información, we notice that the ion words typically tend to be feminine. So, but there are, you already know that word, there are a lot of information, or there is a lot of information, pero hay mucha información y la clase es difícil, and the class is difficult. So we're going to start getting into subject matters and other type of vocabulary, but these sentences are basic enough that we can see words that we're familiar with. The use of es, the use of estoy, the use of our genders, un programa, or we can say los estudiantes, all of our articles, indirect, the definite and indefinite articles, all of these things are coming into play alongside additional vocab like estudiantes, trabajar, me gusta, difícil. But anyway, I always want to wrap up the class with a reading sample. The entire reading sample is here. We only read the first paragraph from 1 through 8. And we're going to continue hopefully next week and see what it has to say. But that is it. I want to, hold on real quickly. I show you. I always want to remind you, listen, read every day if you can. Set aside 5 to 10 minutes, mass amount of exposure constantly. I always want to give you references on areas where you can listen to cool stuff. Maybe do a little journal writing daily, recycle words. I'm pushing that. Consistency is the key. But I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Class technically is over. Muchas gracias por la participación. Stick around if you must to ask additional questions.
Adiós.
Adiós. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Gracias.
Adiós.
Adiós, adiós.
Adiós.
Adiós. Adiós, 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 adiós. Let me go ahead and stop recording. Okay, now I have